Hey, it's Nicky Thompson, and you are listening to Tea with Nicky, Embrace Your Wild Woman. And I'm really excited that you're here and joining me. I love doing these episodes. I do the live video if you're watching that right now, and this also goes onto my podcast, which you can find on every platform that you listen to podcasts. If you have questions about this, please reach out to me, leave a comment, send me a message, or feel free to send me an email. I'm always open to hearing that and hearing what you're up to in your life around embracing your wild woman. So today I am talking all about the guilt of relaxing. So as a parent, I am often plagued with guilt of relaxing. I didn't have much time to relax for many, many years. But now that my kids are a little bit older, I do have a bit of time. And there's guilt. There's guilt of like, okay, there's so much washing still to be done. Or I should be really being more engaged with my children. Or I really should be tidying this up. Or I really should be doing this video or booking this interview. Or whatever it is, there's some guilt that can come up when I'm starting to relax. And so I was thinking about this on my morning walk. I love my morning walks. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, morning walks are my everything. It helps me to stay sane in life and everything. So I'm on my morning walk and I'm thinking about just having a chill day because there's so much going on in the world. There's so much going on in my life. And I'm like, okay, do you know what? Today it's going to be magical. It's going to be fucking bliss. I'm just going to take the day to just lay on the couch or read my book. There's a book that I've been trying to finish. I am an avid reader. Unfortunately, I also have this awful habit of if I'm not really engaged in the book, it often will just sit down for a while and it will take me so long to read, and then another book will jump in line and then I'll just polish that one off. And this little lonely book is still sitting over there and I haven't even touched it. So that can happen. So I'm thinking, okay, I'd really like to read my book. I'd really like to just cook some really delicious foods and not really do much else. So this beautiful thought was popping into my mind and I could feel that I needed it. My wild woman was screaming, saying, yes, do it, have this time, just chillax. And I then started feeling guilty, thinking, okay, no, that's not a good idea. We have so much to do. With so much going on, I need to be even more organized. I need to be even more planned. I need to be even more productive. And so I get home and I'm just like smashing stuff out. I'm getting things done and I'm vacuuming and I'm sorting clothes out and I'm on my computer. And I just like, by lunchtime, I am exhausted. So exhausted, I started feeling a bit unwell. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, see, I knew. The wild woman inside me, she's standing up, pointing her finger at me. She's like, I told you so. I told you that you needed to rest and you didn't listen to me. And therefore, we get into this spiral and I started feeling sick. And then the next day I woke up with sniffles, sore throat, like all of these things. And I'm like, oh shit, I should have listened, and ended up having to take the day to relax because I wasn't well enough to do much else. I was fine by the next day. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was such a clear thing that if we do not listen to our wild woman when she's telling us our intuition, for those that are new to this kind of this language of, I call it our wild woman, when we embrace all of us. But if we're not listening to her, she's gonna scream and she's gonna take matters into her own hands. And she did. So I'm there on the couch, watching Netflix, eating healthy foods, doing all of the things that I actually wanted to do the day before when I was feeling great, but didn't. And so I'm on this walk recently, only on the weekend, when I was thinking about some episodes, and I'm like, remember that time that we didn't listen, and remember that time how we didn't listen and then we ended up on the couch anyway. So I feel like I need some time on the couch again. I feel like I need some time in the pool. I feel like I need some time just outside reading a book. And so I made that time. I kind of cancelled. I was going to go catch up with a friend. I'm like, look, I'm just not feeling 100%. I just need some time. And I think there's this kind of badge of honor that if you're really sick, okay, you can get out of things that you don't want to do, physically sick. But mentally, if you're feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, stressed, anxious, depressed, whatever it is, apparently that's not a good enough reason to reschedule things. And it's unless you're physically sick, then you should just keep powering through life. But we don't take enough emphasis, and we don't honor enough of the mental over exhaustion, the mental load that we're taking constantly, that if we're not mentally up to it, then that's also a very valid reason to take some time to relax, take some time out to energize and recharge before we get to a point where it's really impacting us physically, because the mental stuff is like the first sign, it's the first layer that's going to go. And if we don't listen and take that time, then the physical is just going to fall apart as well. So I want you to think about that. Have you noticed that in your own life where you've been feeling really exhausted, wanted to take a break, but felt guilty, and then ended up your body starts to get a headache constantly, or you're feeling really faint, or feeling really jittery, or feeling really nauseous, or just start to get a bit of a cold? So I want you to think about that and keep that as that reminder of always tuning in. And this is what I talk about on everything I do, whether you're listening to a podcast, the videos, my courses, my women's group, wherever you're kind of tuning in. The key message is to always make the time to tune in and listen to what you really need. Because if we don't make the time to tune in and really listen, then she's going to yell. And that's when things can fall apart, because we haven't been listening to what we really want. So I wanted to talk today about the guilt of relaxing, because I feel as though the priority on mental health is still not strong enough. The feeling that you can't take a day off or have time out because you're just mentally exhausted and drained is still not there. Like that doesn't seem to be a good enough reason for society at the moment. However, if you're physically exhausted, physically sick, well then definitely relax. Definitely avoid everybody and be in bed. But I want to think about that mental exhaustion as well, because it is just as valid and just as debilitating, if not more so, than a physical illness. So I want you to be thinking about that when I'm talking about the guilt of relaxing and the reward of relaxing. The reward is that if you take just an hour or so to relax. Now, I know if you've got young children, that is like a bloody fantasy, right? But we need to try and find ways to make that happen. Now, for me, I have 3 kids. When they were all young, I would wake up earlier. If that didn't happen, if I had a shit sleep and I needed to kind of get a bit of rest, or I just didn't get much sleep. I remember the days just rolling into the nights, rolling into the days, rolling into the nights, and over again. I'd pretty much beg someone to come over every few months just so I could have a break. Or we also hired a nanny for a bit, just for 4 hours a week, just so I could have a breather. I just needed some space. I also used the time I jumped in the shower. I'd probably sit in the shower for 20 minutes. Absolutely not very conservative of me in terms of water usage, but mentally it really helped me just to be in the water. It was really helpful, and it just gave me a bit of quiet, a bit of a break. But wherever you're at in life, finding time to actually relax without guilt, because sometimes if we are relaxing, we're just thinking of all of the things that we should be doing. That's still not relaxing. So we need to write a list of the shit that's going through our head and then let it go and just remind ourselves, I'm going to get to it soon, but I need to have this time to relax, and then make it part of your life. For me, we cook dinner, and we eat dinner together, and then we all sit down to watch a movie. Pretty much most nights we'll all sit down to watch a movie together, or we play games. We love playing Hangman, actually, is our favorite family game at the moment. But playing a game together, that type of thing is relaxing with family. I also love to relax on my own. I'm such an introvert. I need to be energized by being alone. And so that involves me taking time out, especially during the school holidays. We go on our outdoor adventures in the morning, come home, have lunch. Everyone disappears into their own little crevice of the house. And mine is here in my office. And I just chill out. I journal, read, whatever it is, play with the dog, whatever I'm doing to help me relax. So the reward of relaxing is that I'm then super productive. After I've relaxed for a bit, I just had some chill time before. I'm smashing things out because my brain is good, my energy is great, I'm feeling nourished, I had a great lunch. And so the reward of that relaxing time has meant that I'm now ready to go. Like I'm firing on all cylinders and I'm way more productive after I've had some time out. So I want you to think about what is your reward for relaxing and how much time do you think you need to relax? If you're an extrovert, relaxing might be with other people. You know, your way of relaxing doesn't have to be the same way as mine. It doesn't have to be the same way as your partner's. So have a think about what is very relaxing and recharging for you and how can you incorporate more of that into your life, knowing full well that that's actually more productive. There's no need for guilt. I remember I used to feel guilty about having a nap during the day, even though I barely sleep at night when I had babies. And I would feel guilty having a nap during the day because I'm like, oh my gosh, what's there? Oh, there's so much to do. I'm like, Jesus, woman, sleep is like one of the crucial things of essential elements of living. And I felt guilty doing that. Now I do not. If I need to have a nap, which is very rare now, I'll have a nap. I'll go and do it without guilt. And so relaxing without guilt allows us to then have that energy that we need, but it also allows us to think clearer. You know, we can make better decisions, quicker decisions when we need to make them if we're fully recharged. But if we're constantly running on empty and this little hamster wheel going round and round and every day is looking the same and we're just constantly overwhelmed and exhausted, we're not making the best decisions. And we're also not able to tune into our intuition, our wild woman, because we're not able to connect with her because we're feeling so exhausted. We're not listening. We're just like trying to get through things as quickly as we can because we're so tired and we just want to relax. But we can't because we feel so guilty. And so I want you to think about that. You know, what is there? What is the messaging there of why you're feeling guilty about it? And how can you make relaxing more elements of your life? I'm not talking about just having months off at the beach every day, but incorporating that to have a more all-round, more enjoyable life. You know, a joyful life is what we really, really want. So how can you make it more fun, more exciting by incorporating more time to relax so that you're not just trying to get through the day? So that's my advice. If you have any comments, I'd love for you to leave them below or send me a message. How do you relax? And what is coming up when I have this conversation with you? Why do you think you feel guilty to relax? I'd love to know. I'd always love understanding more of what goes on in people's minds. So please let me know. And I hope you have the most incredible day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.